Hi.
All right, well, thanks everybody for coming here today. Jeff, I don't really know the structure of what's going to happen. Besides, this is a very special meeting that we have here today, and Jeff does this on a regular basis with businesses, and this is a very serious thing, so we need to keep that in mind. And now we're going to just set up a strategy for GSP and look at the future, share vision, come up with some things. So thanks for coming, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I know that we're a very substantial group. I've had a lot of your predecessors in my strategy class in the past, and that's how I got recruited to the group. They're all just excellent students. And so what I wanted to do is not only work with you, but show you an example of how we really do this. This is what I do, and I don't know if you know, I teach strategy here on the campus. I also am on the board of directors of Lundberg Family Farms, which is the leading national producer of rice products and packaged rice products. We're the leader in the natural food segment, and now the company is entering major regular retail areas. And so anyway, so we have about 200 product lines, and pretty sophisticated operation now. It's right there in Richville. And then I have other, I do regular consulting, and I've probably had about 100 different companies in the Chico area that I've previously in Pennsylvania at Penn State. I did a lot of projects. So I work with companies as big as General Electric. So in Pennsylvania, the Transportation Systems Division was located there, and so I work with them there. And they make the diesel electric locomotives that you see on the rail. And as small as, a dry cleaner. So I have quite a range. And so anyway, so today what I wanted to do is go through a planning exercise with you. And we're only going to go so deep. And so you'll, if you can use what we create, what you'll do is you'll fill in more details, later on your own. But what I'm going to do is guide you through the grander process so that you can then have a framework with which to execute the things that you want to execute, if it makes sense to you. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to introduce each framework, and then I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are, and you're going to commit your thoughts to a sheet of paper. Then we're going to tabulate the results. We're going to put it up on the board and see where we are. We're going to try to assess what the issues are, and then we're also going to try to assess the importance and the rankings of the issues. So we don't just have issues, but we also try to trim it down to a reasonable level, quote unquote, so that we don't overwhelm you. But also you get a sense that if we're going to work on something, we have some way of knowing this is an important issue because we have an aggregate sense of what the importance is. And so then you feel better that you're spending time on something that matters and will help. All right. So who am I working with here today? Could we go around the room and just maybe your name and how long you've been with the organization, or maybe what your major is?
Yeah, Jeff, one minute. Hey, Angela, Mitch, and Gino, can you hear Jeff?
The audio kind of fluctuates.
Okay, I'll try to speak up a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah, I mean, you were messing around with the mouse a second ago, and then the audio was kind of going up and down. I don't know what you were doing.
Okay. I'll stop touching that. Angela, you can't hear?
You see the microphone on Angela's there?
Wait,
Does she have her microphone muted?
oh, did you mute that?
No, that's the mute.
Wait,
No,
how much?
There
can
go.
you hear? Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Angela?
Why?
Mitch?
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah. You charger.
Okay, I think the Google Hangout is just useless. I'm gonna put you on. Could you hear on Skype pretty well when we were Skyping in?
I can't hear you. Chris, you're just gonna have to get going with this.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but we're gonna record it, so. Is that maybe like a-
You're not gonna say anything?
No, I'm gonna.
The windows are down below.
Well, we can start the introductions
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
all know each other.
Yeah.
So.
Would you mind starting?
My name is Nick.
And what's your major?
I'm actually a double major in political science and anthropology,
Wow.
and a minor in entrepreneurship.
Okay, and how long have you been with the?
I just crossed over this semester into
Okay.
DSE.
Great. Okay.
My name's Adriana. I'm an entrepreneurship major and a minor in management, and this is my third semester with DSE.
Third semester.
I'm Christine. I have a major in marketing with a minor in international business and a professional sales program certificate, and then it's also my third semester with husbands.
My name's Brett, supply chain management major, and I pledged with them as well, so 3 semesters.
Got a powerful group.
My name is Joseph. I'm a finance major and this will be my second active semester with DSB.
I'm Ewan. I'm a project management major, and I've been in this training for 4 semesters now.
Wow, the old man in the room, huh?
Kinda. The old young man. Kind of both.
I'm Sean. I just joined. This will be my 6th semester.
Oh.
You're 5th. I'm the 4th, that's your 5th.
Yeah, but he was out of the country.
Doesn't matter.
Hi.
No, right before me, right before me.
Sophomore year, junior year.
Can you guys see my video?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, they said 3 and 4.
Anyway.
A
long time.
Yeah, and I'm also the president for next semester.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, and what's your major?
Oh, I'm project management major and entrepreneurship.
I mean,
major.
I'm kind of like,
Okay.
I'm kind of like.
Darren Minetti.
Hear that?
I've been with the
Hi.
chapter for
Yeah.
3 semesters, same as them. I am a finance major with a minor in marketing and management sustainability.
And I'm Chris. I've been in here in the fraternity for 2.5 years and just graduated, but I'm excited to be part of this discussion and maybe could provide some insight into what we've been doing and what we can do in the future.
And if
Yeah.
our online people.
Hey Gino, can you share with us?
UConn.
My name is Gino Greco. I'm going to major in finance, minor in entrepreneurship.
Great. Okay.
My name is Mitch. I'm a mechatronics major and minor in global development.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could you just tell me what mechatronics is? That sounds really cool.
Oh, it's a mixture between electrical and mechanical engineering.
Cool. Very
So it's
nice. Yeah.
robotic.
No, I think I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know we had that. That's, no, that's really interesting. Well, this is fantastic. So I was expecting a lot of business students, but it sounds like we have a lot of others as well, and so that's good for me to know. And all right, so of course the place to start here. You've probably heard of vision and mission statements. I'm assuming because this organization has been around for a while that you already have a vision and mission that's probably that you have and that you're comfortable with. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but can somebody articulate to me?
So who wants to do the purpose?
Well, we have like overall for all of Delta Sigma Pi,
Right.
but I think like for our personal one, I don't know if we really do have a statement for just like chief of state.
No,
or
that's all right.
anything.
We're going to do that. Well, we're going to talk about strategic priorities for here.
Okay.
So we won't really talk about vision and mission because I understand that it's a national organization. But I need a sense of what the room feels like. Is a unified sense of the mission/purpose. Sure.
The way that I see it, and I think everyone else can chime in, is Delta Sigma Pi is a vehicle through which we can open up as many opportunities as possible, and for us to also develop skills which allow us to be better off in the business world, and also to rip down the wall between what we're learning in the classroom, what we're doing outside of the classroom, also to interact with, to create that stronger connection between the local business and just outside business in general, and students who are studying business.
You're building the foundation for your career potential, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, okay.
And helping
Everybody's-
others with that.
Everybody's comfortable with that? Okay, because I was assuming that we wouldn't need to spend much time here, that there would be some level of comfort with that, because I want to get to more detailed stuff, so to speak, and so, but is there a problem with the shared purpose?
My thing is, we do have our shared purpose that's, in our ritual, it's in our, that's what we've all come together about.
Mhm.
But I do think it'd be very valuable for us as a group to come up with our own actual mission and vision for our
okay.
Chico State chapter.
Okay.
As a whole. It'll just kind of help us and everybody else relate to something. So.
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that at the end. So we're gonna go through what we're gonna go through, and then we're gonna come back, because I think you're gonna have a better sense of what you want to put there when we're done, so we'll save some time at the end. But we're finishing at 4, is that right?
Yeah.
Here's what it says on the website as far as mission. It's a couple sentences. Delta Sigma Pi is a professional fraternity organized to foster the study of business in universities, to encourage scholarship, social activity, and the association of students for their mutual advancement by research and practice, to promote closer affiliation between the commercial world and the students of commerce, and to further a higher standard of commercial ethics and culture and the civic and commercial welfare of the community. So that's the official one.
It's like the national.
That's the
That's our
national
purpose,
mission
yeah.
statement.
Actually, one sentence.
What's that?
It's one long sentence.
Tortured long
Yeah,
sentence. huh?
that we all have to memorize.
I have something I wanted to add.
Yeah.
So for me, like vision is more of like where you want to go as a group in the future, like where you're headed, and then mission is more of like what you want right now in the present. And I feel like how Darren was saying, we kind of lack something for our own chapter. We don't have like a goal that we want to achieve. We haven't really written that down, and we don't know.
So I'm glad you said that. We're gonna do that today. So at least we'll have a step forward on that.
Mhm.
Whether or not it gets far enough to be usable will depend on what the consensus is, but we'll definitely address that. Good. Yeah, good. Okay. All right. So then, so we have some direction from national. We're gonna refine it for the group here, but we're gonna come back to that at the end. So what I wanna do first is I wanna get a sense of strategic priorities. So what I'm gonna ask you to do in a minute, I'm just prefacing this for the moment. In a minute, I'm going to want you to write down what about the top 3, please no more than the top 5, but what you think the top 3 priorities are, strategic priorities for the organization. And from your point of view, you don't have to try to guess what other people are going to put. It's perfectly legitimate to put what you want to put. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a frequency tabulation, and we're going to see if there's some recurring themes here. We're going to put the ideas up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go through this list, and we're going to ask ourselves to rank this and see what falls out. We're going to kind of prioritize these. And so this is a process. This is just a process. You're going to define it, but that's what we're going to do. But before, and it's absolutely fine to go ahead and get started. But let me see if I can influence your thinking here just a little bit. So in strategic priorities, the thing we get concerned about is a thing called resource dependence theory. And resource dependence theory is this idea.
Chris, I can't hear.
Okay. A resource dependence theory is this idea that organizations survive only when they meet minimum necessary thresholds for the different stakeholder groups upon which they depend. And so one of the things that we need to do today then is, according to this theory, that we need to identify who the stakeholder groups are, and then we need to ask ourselves, what are the issues that allow us to meet the needs of each of these groups. Because if we're not doing that, then the survival of the organization is in jeopardy. Whether we know it or not, it is. So it's important then that we strategically have some kind of monitoring mechanism to make sure that we're on track for each of these groups. And so when we talk about strategic priorities, then we want to keep this in mind and say, okay, well then what are the different groups, and what is the minimum, at least the minimum that each of the group needs. And so, of course, one of the stakeholder groups is going to be, right, the membership. That's the easy one. So the student membership. So. So we're going to need some kind of identified priority for you all, the student members. Your group is here and represented, so that's less of an issue. But I want to warn you that we also need to think about these other groups. So does anybody want to pitch a couple of ideas about what other stakeholder groups might be? Yeah.
Definitely our nationals. There are requirements that we have to meet each semester with them. With that, as well with our student members, we have our active members, but then we also have our interns, or the people that we're going to be bringing in.
Right, so the potential members.
Right. And then I would also say the university as well. I think there are some standards that we have to meet through university to ensure that we are recognized and our images have held with the university.
I'd also say alumni.
Alumni?
And faculty.
Community.
Like the Chico town?
Yeah.
Or campus community, or
The
same
whole
thing?
Chico town.
Is Chamber of Commerce one of them?
We can kind of go into community.
College business belong on that list as a separate entity from campus.
We could probably put College of Business maybe underneath campus.
That's because that's a primary affiliation?
Yeah.
Because you do have members that are not in the business school, right?
They have to be affiliated with the business department
Oh, somewhere.
So either
Oh, is that
minor
right? Oh, okay.
Either
Okay,
minor
gotcha.
or marketing.
Oh, very
or
good.
minor or major.
Very good, okay. It just got more complicated, didn't it?
I'd say all CSU Chico students in general. I think there's a positive impact on it in a
The
professional world.
campus.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Sorry.
Well, with that, if you're going to get specific, you know, the AS on this, that's kind of what you would think about.
Yeah, I guess if we're going to start breaking down CSU, we could break that down into a lot of different things, but when I brought up campus, I was kind of more talking about administration and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So with that would go AS as well as like student life and leadership.
Student life.
You can just put SLL, yeah.
SLL, okay. So what we're gonna do is I think this is a great start. And if we miss anything, or there's something here that you get rid of later, that's fine. We're getting the framework going so you can see how the framework works. And then you're gonna add and subtract as you go, because there's gonna be things that you decide you don't need to try track after all, or something that we missed that you're going to add. But that's all right. It's the process and the framework that matters the most, and we'll fix it as we go. All right. So now, so this is an excellent start. So on the one hand, you need to meet certain needs of a national organization, right? Or you lose the affiliation with national. And so as I start to ask you what the priorities are, then I want you to think in terms of that. That if we go past this point, we lose this group, and then that would be, that would be a huge strategic problem for us. Likewise, if we can't recruit potential members, if we create such a hostile environment or image that we can't recruit, then the organization dies by attrition. And so I think that's a great one. The campus, I know that the president has suspended student organizations. There's precedent for that. So I think that's a good call. I think that if we don't meet a certain level of expectation for the campus administration, and I guess AS, and I suppose the COB, or if we manage to irritate the students in general, that we can lose our status with the university, and so I think that's a good call as well. So there's certain minimum thresholds here that we need to be aware of, and we need to make sure that we are in compliance. Alumni, now that's an interesting one to me. I think it's a strategic issue in the sense that that's probably a contributor and a resource for you. It's unclear to me that it's a serious threat like the other ones are, but that's just my perception. I could be completely wrong about that. And so, but I think it's good to have it on here and see if that works for you. And then the Chico community, with an example of the chamber. I think, like with the campus, if we were to sufficiently irritate the community, that would that would then have feedback effects up here, which would then have disastrous results. And, okay. Good. So then, so typically, strategic planning without a process would tend to focus right about here, because that's typically the group that's doing the planning. But I hope that I'm pointing out here that it's a much better plan if you at least have something to track these other things. So strategically, you're managing your environment. You're interacting properly with your environment. Is that works good? Absolutely. Okay. All right. Okay. So what we like to do then is so this is why we need 3 hours. You're probably wondering, why is this going to take 3 hours? Well, because we have to work through a lot of issues. We have to work through a lot of issues here. Now remember that the point of this is to provide your personal, honest view. Do not worry about what other people are going to put, or whether or not other people are going to agree. That's okay. If it matters to you, that's what matters. What we're trying to do is give the room a sense of consensus. And so if it's not really how you feel, then it's not really gonna help as much. And so if everybody agrees, that's interesting. If they don't agree, that's also interesting. And so it's okay. And there's absolutely no criticism or judgment here. It's just a matter of giving ourselves information with which to make informed choices. And so that's what I want from you, is so that strategy is about trade-offs. And so what I like, for example, about the national vision and mission, and what was Chris was saying, was this idea of, it's career-oriented. I want to build a foundation for a good career. And so what we do is we work on things that give us a higher probability of a good career path, and I think that's awesome. Well, okay, so then that's not, having a kegger every weekend. I mean, it's career-oriented. It's not drowning in alcohol-oriented, which is another path, right? And so, so it's pretty clear that we're going to hedge things that go in this direction. So that's helpful. And likewise, we're going to take that on into these areas. All right. And so, first then, what I'd like to do is, I identify each of you. I only want the top 3 because we have a lot of people, so we're going to get, even with just 3, we're going to get a lot of issues. And so I really want just your top 3. What are the top 3 strategic priorities for the student members? And so it's probably going to have to do with, career path things like that. That's how you attract people and things, but it doesn't have to be. You could be here for a completely different reason, and that's okay. But what do you think are the top 3 strategic priorities for the student members? So I'm just going to give you, 60 seconds here. What are the,
Can you give us an example of like?
okay,
what-
so an example would be when I ask for the company, they would say it's going to be like net income. So for a company, this would be something like, well, there's the corporation, and then there's the owners. This is a different stakeholder group, and then there's employees. And so the owners, we would say the primary strategic priority is going to be they want a return on their investment. And then for the employees, we want a safe work environment, and we want fair pay, and we want benefits. There's certain strategic priorities for the employees. For suppliers want to be paid quickly. The strategic priority for them is they're happy to sell to you, but they don't want to wait for their money. They want to, and so what we want to do is identify a very few items, but very important items. So as a student member, what is it that makes you excited to be part of the group? What's critical for you that you get? This is a strategic priority for me. If we don't get this done, then I'm less interested in being a member, because I'm really a member because this is the priority for me. Now these other issues are just other issues, so you have a chance to talk about these other things later. But for you as a member, not as a new person, but as a member, this is the priority for me. This is the top 3. These are the top 3 things of why I'm a member, or what I would. Things that if we did better, it could be things that you don't do well right now, that's fine. You say, but if we did this better, this would be the top 3 things. Okay, good. So it could be aspirational, or it could be things that you're doing right now. Just the top 3. I understand there could be more, but just the top 3. Was that enough of a?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
perfect. I wrote it down when you were
Okay.
describing it to me. It's perfect.
I'm just going to go another 30 seconds. Okay, does everybody have at least a couple? Okay. So what I'm going to do then, it's important that you're going to probably want to do this exercise, without me at some point to refine things. It's important that you have people write stuff down. I don't know, this is just a human thing where committing it to writing makes it more real and commits you to an answer. And so I'm just saying in the future, don't avoid that process. Make sure that you have people done. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go around, and I'm going to put our items on here. And if we start to repeat, that's absolutely fine. Just tell me that yours is similar to somebody else's, and I'll just put a check mark next to it. And so here we go. Why don't we start?
I don't know, just.
Alright.
Okay. I put internships / jobs. It's kind of the same sort of thing. Social aspect, in the sense of like having close friends and people to hang out with. And really just hard to communicate. Well, I said growth in the sense of like learning new skills.
Oh, okay.
So like being able to do better in an interview or getting the answer on time by other people.
Okay.
I said grow network.
Grow network.
In a way, relates to jobs and internship. Develop and practice professional skills. So I guess, yeah.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then develop and build up those around you.
Develop and build the people around you.
I said professional development, which kind of goes along with growth.
Is that okay if I just put that?
Yeah,
on here?
that's fine.
Good.
Brotherhood, which kind of comes back to the social aspect a little bit, which I just put brotherhood because it's kind of what we call it.
Is it okay if I put brotherhood in parentheses here?
Yeah, that'd be great actually. And then community outreach.
Okay. Great.
So, as people have touched on, the network, the benefit of building the connections and friendships with alumni, for that to be a continuous
Can I put in
thing.
parentheses alumni here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as well, membership, continuing the increase in membership.
Increase in membership?
Between 40 and 50, I'd say. I mean, so the final number for the organization on a continuous semester basis.
Okay.
Awareness and reach. So, I don't know, more specifically, for example, a continuous pipeline of people who are attending our events.
Okay.
And money.
Money in the sense of
Chapter
money
funds.
available to the organization?
Yes.
Or personally? To the
To
organization?
the organization.
Okay.
Yeah, I said to bridge the gap between the study of business and commerce and the real world application.
You are a newly initiated, aren't you?
Real applications in,
And just the study of it.
theory, I guess. Okay.
And then I also said to grow and develop professionally and personally.
Like a brother?
Yeah, the growth, yeah, good.
Great.
Growth.
Yeah.
And then I also said brotherhood.
Okay.
You also need to put another check for brotherhood because
Okay. Yep. Yep.
So I said consistency.
Consistency in,
Consistency in, like, maybe like, for example, like our roles, like sometimes someone will be really great at a role and then someone else fills in that position and they don't really, like, follow the example that person that was really awesome.
In session planning.
So that would be, or like, or also communication, like always being consistent about communication.
can I put consistency in organization administration?
Mhm.
Is that kind of? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, good.
Transparency.
Transparency, interesting. Okay, good. Okay.
And direction.
Direction. Okay. Okay.
I definitely said brotherhood. And to like include more diversity within our, like,
Diversity in the new membership?
yeah,
Okay.
with like majors and also like, you know, different thought patterns and things like that, like the better listeners, the better leaders, better followers, things like that.
Since
There's a
that
lot of those things.
is part of this, I'm gonna include it under this.